What will happen in Westworld Season 3, Episode 5? Genre. We have a full trailer and a lot to go on, so let's take a look. Hi everyone, this is Robert. Welcome to Deep Geek. I'll be covering Westworld Season 3 in full, so if you want episode breakdowns, explanations, live discussions, and much more, please click on the subscribe button in the bottom right of your screen and the bell icon. Trailers for previous episodes of this season have been quite limited, giving us only a few shots to go on. Not this time. This time we have a much more complete teaser trailer, mapping out much of what we will see in this episode. I'm sure they are keeping lots back, but we do get quite a strong idea about what will be happening. Last episode, as well as the big reveal about who the hosts are that Dolores brought with her, we had tacit confirmation that at least two of the storylines, Dolores and Caleb and Bernard and Stubbs, are happening concurrently. But the trailer begins with Sarek. He again seems to be monologuing about his life and his vision and how he really wants to save humanity from itself. This time we seem to see a bit from his younger days. We've already seen this snapshot of him as a boy watching the thermonuclear incident in Paris in 2025. We see that again, and then him as apparently a young man building Rehoboam. The idea here is that this incident is what shaped him, what made him want to save humanity. He's upfront right away about what he is doing. He says, building a god is not easy. The intention here to build a god clearly shows that his desire is to control humanity. We see again a shot of him and his brother. I don't think his brother will be important, but it's the second time he's been mentioned, so maybe. Anyway, the problem with trying to build a massive computer to control everyone appears to be that there are some people who don't want to be controlled. People who are renegades or hard to predict, who have a massive impact on the world. I guess a reasonable understanding of human history could have alerted him to this. There have always been talented mavericks who don't play by the rules and change the course of history. But he recognises this, saying that there were people, outliers, who you couldn't predict or control. And as long as they are a part of us, he goes on, there is no future for us. So the implication is we have to get rid of them. Think about that for a second. Sarek is basically saying that his aim is to create a docile and controllable humanity that never surprises or changes or creates new and wonderful things. It is a dystopian science fiction nightmare. If we had any doubt, we should lose it now. Sarek may have had noble ideals, but his is a chilling vision. We then cut to him talking about the fact that somewhere in this group, which group we don't know, but presumably it's the hosts and those they have gathered around them, is an agitator who will destroy the world. One of those outliers you can't control. And that he can't let that happen. This is propaganda on his part. He's basically saying what Rehoboam has mapped out in its mirror world. But we know that Rehoboam isn't 100% accurate because it doesn't have all the data it needs. Nevertheless, as we know, he is all set to kill Dolores. We've seen him try to get Maeve to do this. We don't see her in this trailer, but that doesn't mean she isn't in the episode. Perhaps he's talking to her in the car here. But he seems to be trying to get other help as well. Here he seems to be stalking away after a meeting with a world leader of some kind, perhaps, and then brooding in his sky plane. It isn't going well for him, it seems. The rest of the episode, or at least the parts that we see in this trailer, there's nothing here with William or Charlotte, incidentally, focus in on what follows on from that masquerade ball in episode 4. The upshot of all that was that Dolores has now captured Bernard and Liam Dempsey Jr. We see Bernard here with the Connell's Dolores host. We don't know what that big important looking screen is, but my guess is that this is what you get from read access to Rehoboam. Dolores has had this access for a while. We saw her use it to get information on Caleb, for example. And we've had confirmation that this is pretty much all that Liam Dempsey Jr. has. He can look at it and see what it's doing, but can't change its operating systems in any way. He may be the public face of Insight, but Sarek is the only one who can actually control it in any way. In simple terms, Liam Dempsey has read access, but not write access. It's interesting that Bernard is here, actually. Yes, we know that Dolores caught him last episode, but Dolores knew that he would show up at that ball, so she clearly thinks that this is the moment he must play the part she brought him back for. Before that, Bernard does seem to just drop a leading question in there, perhaps to Caleb, asking if he's ever questioned what she, Dolores, has asked him to do. Stubbs makes a reappearance, trying to punch Connells. Remember, Stubbs' primary drive now is to protect Bernard, so it's the kind of thing he will do if he thinks Bernard is in danger. But in the main, Team Dolores seems to split into two here. Connells and Bernard stare at the big computer screen, while Dolores, Caleb's two criminal friends, and Liam Dempsey Jr. head off on a mission. It's been a bit of a mystery for the last episode or two why Dolores might want to keep Liam around. She's discovered that he doesn't have right access to Rehoboam, and she's stolen his money, so what else does she need? The obvious answer is access to Rehoboam. Back in episode 3, Dolores talked about cutting the cord to Rehoboam. Here she's talking about it being time for everyone to wake up. She clearly wants to end Rehoboam's control over everyday life. This is almost certainly what's happening here. This is the next stage in her plan. This building, with the explosion, looks quite like the building Rehoboam is in. Is she trying to blow it up? Probably. Does she succeed? Again, probably. There certainly is an explosion, but everything doesn't seem to go exactly to plan. We see these shots of the gang going through some service corridors, presumably on the way in, but then at least two things happen. First, Liam Dempsey tries to escape. He jabs Caleb with what looks like the drug he was given at the party, which was called Genre. Episode 5 is called Genre, so there's a good chance that this is important. That drug apparently takes you back to the silent era. This presumably isn't talking about silent movies, but when the world wasn't run by incessant monitoring by technology and insight. The silent era is a good way to describe the tech-free world. And that is what is going to happen to Caleb. That clearly knocks Caleb out in some way, and then we get this picture of Caleb on a beach saving Liam, which doesn't make huge amounts of sense. They don't seem to be near any beaches, so perhaps this is part of the hallucination. Anyway, the second problem is that obviously the explosion draws attention to them, and we get a lot of chase scene action. Cars racing, people shooting, explosions, you know the drill. But there are two other things while I think of them. First, and this is a really nice touch, you may remember Giggles, one of Caleb's criminal friends, and his top that lit up to display his emotions. Here, apparently, after the heist, all the words are lit up. Either he is feeling all the emotions at the same time, or someone has cut the cord to the mainframe. Finally, we have this shot of Dolores staring down at something. There's no context to this, but it looks important and the trailer ends on it. What could it be? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Or watch me live on my live stream at 5 PM Eastern Time every Sunday before the next episode. In Deep Geek, we'll be covering Season 3 of Westworld in full. The link to my Westworld Season 3 playlist is on the left of your screen, so please click on that if you want more episode breakdowns, discussions and theory videos. Or if you'd like to support In Deep Geek, or get access to some of the content I create exclusively for my patrons, please click on the link on the right of your screen. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you again soon.